pumpkin and all that good stuff.
And even did the real challenge was just a couple weeks ago, and I'm blanking on it now.
With the little tickets in the box in the cafeteria.
Yeah, no, but there was a vegetable that of course. Not butternuts.
I think the vendors, the businesses in town on Main Street have been very good in getting up I see one in the Winstead Journal window about the Veggie of the Week program, and I think it's great that students at a young age, kindergarten, first grade, are being exposed to this kind of a media hype around eating vegetables.
Yeah.
When you look in school cafeterias across the country, oftentimes you'll find that the child will eat something maybe that has a lot of carbs and fats right off the get-go and then throw out the veggies. But it's important that kids learn to eat the vegetables to not only get their vitamins and nutrients, but they're going to be fewer calories than other things on the plate.
And they can try something new. The vegetable I was trying to think of was the Brussels sprouts. And Art got adventurous by offering that to the kids, and it sounds like it was well received.
Yeah. Brussels sprouts are great. You put a little olive oil and some kosher salt on and bake them up, and they're great.
Absolutely.
Nice and crunchy.
Now you mentioned you've got kids of your own. So
I do.
So what do you guys like to do when you find some free time? How do you get that out and about?
Well, my two daughters are involved in soccer, so oftentimes I have to drive around to one game or practice or another. And my son is involved he's been involved in baseball and cross country. So he's in high school, so it's a little less on the dad being a taxi driver on the weekends because he takes buses to meets and games and so forth. But with the girls, I'm still taxiing them around to all kinds of games and practices, which can get old, but I think it's very important for boys and girls that they're involved in activities like that, because it helps with teamwork and leadership skills and just building confidence about their own capacity as a player.
Sure. And there's so many.
I've
got three.
Three daughters.
Two daughters and a son.
Oh, okay.
And it's it can be a challenge, but it's fun. Like a couple weeks ago, been in the area for a long time, but finally got out to High Blind Tower at Mountain Park in Simsbury.
Yeah, hiking up there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful view. So if you've never been out there, highly recommend you go check it out. They closed
Simsbury Road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think they just closed up the tower at the end of October, but it's still an incredible view at the top of the ridge. You can see all the way from Farmington, Simsbury, all the way out here.
All the way out here.
All the way out.
Right.
You can see Mohawk Mountain in Cornwall from there.
Wow.
And
then if you want to be really, courageous, you could climb up there to see the tower. And then when you get to the tower, you can climb upstairs and go to the actual top of it and see another view. As long as you don't get vertigo or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a nice 360 degrees all the way around. And do you ski? Is winter a fun time?
I do ski. I do snow ski now. I used to water ski more, but I snow ski now, and every once in a while we'll get up to Vermont. Not as much as I would like to, and then we go to Ski Sundown now and then too.
And is that something the whole family takes part in?
My wife's not so much, but the kids and I, we like to do that.
Yeah, it can be a nice group thing. My wife was out of it for a while, but finally now that the youngest is getting to the point where she can ski, now it's back to a family
Winter's
function.
kind of tough to stay active. I mean, in the summer you have biking and all kinds of water sports, but the winter can be tough.
Yeah, it gets a little more challenging. So I guess transitioning that to the schools, is it a challenge for recess in the winter? Are the kids still able to go out and play in the snow?
Recess is complex when you get to temperature, high winds. I think 2 days on nice days we had bears that we needed to look out for, so we kept the kids in for that up at Batchelor. But usually snow and ice and that sort of thing, recess isn't going to happen. So what I always notice as a teacher, if the kids can go out, you're going to get more calories are going to get burned, and they're going to blow off some steam and then be able to focus better. So recess in the class isn't as fun. You can still do games and that sort of thing, but it's not as fun as going outside on the swings. And
absolutely. And yeah, I remember always feeling kind of shortchanged when we weren't able to go outside, you know, for whatever reason.
But it's good they can go over to the Y, the students who are involved in the Champs program to learn to swim and that sort of thing too.
Yeah, we love having all those kids come over every day. You know, I'm sitting in my office, and my office is right in the center of the Y there. So around 3:30 Monday through Wednesday right now, and then Thursday soon, you just hear, you know, a gaggle of kids coming down the hall, screaming, having fun, and so really, it's nice to, you know, brings the Y to life after school there, and you know, it's
they're
great to hear.
anxious to jump in.
Absolutely. So you mentioned you had bears. We had bears at our summer camp this summer. They kind of
we only had them. I think it was twice, but other than that, we haven't run into that issue.
Yeah.
But it is a concern. We do have cameras. We did get the security grant too, so we'll put up more cameras so we can see what's going on out in the playgrounds in each of the schools from the main office.
Yeah, the thing that surprised me most when we had that incident at our camp is, you know, we reached out to the parents, you know, as you frequently do, and say, hey, we just want to let you know that this is what was going on. And rather than the concerned calls that I expected to get, most were reaching out to the kids saying, hey, did you get a picture? Did you see the bear? They were excited about it, which was, you know, fun to hear.
Right.
You know, because obviously they knew we were keeping the kids safe, you know, as you guys do. But yeah, there's a lot of fun. So, you know, you mentioned the Champs, and we're looking forward to, I know you're doing the 5th and 6th grade program is going to be kicking off soon with Teresa Payton as the director.
I think it's great. You know, as kids age, after school activities can be an issue if they're not involved. If they're involved in sports or outside activities, that's a great thing. I think the real test, I used to be a high school vice principal, and the real test was 9th and 10th grade before kids can work or, you know, drive. The kids who weren't involved, there was too much idle time available to kids, and you know what happens with idle time for
absolutely
people who aren't busy. So it wasn't all good. But if you can keep your kids involved in activities after school, you're in a much better position later on.
Yeah. I mean, for years there's been anecdotal talk about how you know, the benefits of physical activity on kids' grades, but I did hear recently that there's, you know, finally a, you know, really solid study showing that kids do much more better academically with some physical activity incorporated than without. And you know, it's the opposite of the way that schools nationally have gone. They've been cutting out the physical activity because they've had to focus on the tests, and meanwhile they're kind of making their job more difficult.
No, I think they especially with PE, art and music too. You need to expose different stimuli for kids, and when kids get their heart rate up, they're going to get more oxygen to their brain, so the engine's going to fire a little better than it did before. But it allows for maybe more clarity of thought and that sort of thing, which wipes off well in a classroom for students to perform well in math and reading and so forth. And that's in our lower grades. Teaching reading is really what it's all about.
Yeah.
So providing the stimulation from, say, phys ed class is a good opportunity, as well as muscle growth and development and that sort of thing.
Sure. And we mentioned the wellness policy earlier. I think now that also applies to the staff, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, in ways that they can keep themselves healthy. Obviously, they have to be good role models for the kids.
Yeah. And it affects us in health insurance. So as an employer, we provide health insurance options for employees. And the healthier workforce we have, the fewer claims are made and so forth. We just finished our last teacher negotiation, and by the end of that contract, in the 3rd year, all the teachers will move over to the health savings account plan, which actually makes them more into a consumer of health care. So it's partially funded by the employer, partially funded by the teacher. The premiums are much less for both the employee and the employer, so that's a win-win situation. But the consumer needs to know or think about what service they're going to go get. So when you have a point of service plan, you just pay a small copay and you might go more often. But now you really have to think about what it is that you're going for. So it does bode well in keeping premiums down, the health savings account, and it works well in that consumer from the consumer point of view. So it seems to be a win-win for everybody. In that we have offered it, not many people have taken it in prior years, but now in the third year of that contract, they'll have to take it if they want the health care. But the wellness programs, it's important that employees have an opportunity to go out there and exercise, because they're going to come back to their class refreshed and able to handle much of the stress. I think probably the biggest stressors now for educators is all about the new evaluation system, which is much different, and the new game changer is really moving to the Common Core. So when you look at what students need to be able to do at each of the different grade levels, the expectations have gone up exponentially, which is a great thing in the end. But for a teacher who may be used to a different set of lesson plans or different expectations, it's a real game changer. So that can be stressful for teachers.
Yeah, they're virtually started from scratch, right?
Yeah, and if you've been teaching for 20 years and now somebody moved your cheese, it's difficult to keep up with that, and can be stressful. So it's more important that teachers have an opportunity to go out there and exercise and be fit.
Absolutely. And as far as the HSA, we do that ourselves, and it's amazing that now we actually see the bills.
Yeah.
You don't just see, like I said, just the copay. You see, well, this is how much it actually costs to get blood drawn.
Right.
You're like, wow. And so I'm not going to do that unless I absolutely need to.
Yeah.
And
what's good about it too, there are a number of services that are provided for free. As preventative, medical functions, which I think help out too.
So true health care instead of sick care.
Yeah, right. Keeping people healthy. That's important.
Wonderful. Well, was there anything we didn't get to talk about that I'm not sure I mentioned?
No, but I was glad I took the tour of the Y. I was impressed with all your different programs, whether it was the literacy program you have working for adults who need support with learning how to read and write and so forth. It seems like your scope of services is wide-ranging, and I would recommend anybody out in the community who's interested in trying to stay fit over the course of the winter to hop on over to the Winstead Y and see what's available.
Well, thanks. We appreciate that.
Okay.
Well, thanks again, and thanks for joining us here at Focus on Health, and we look forward to seeing you soon. But before we go, just want to remind you of a couple of upcoming events. Our second annual Freezing for a Reason. Basically this is an awareness campaign about homelessness in the greater Winstead area, as well as a fundraiser for the Winstead YMCA Homeless Shelter. And it's going to be Friday, December 13th. A number of us are going to be sleeping out on the town green, East End Park, right here in Winstead on Friday the 13th. So it should be an interesting night. And we actually, this year, what we're adding is the ability for other people to come and join us. So we're encouraging people to grab their friends, sign up a team, and come sleep on the green with us. And it'll be fun and all for a great cause. You can find more information and register on our website at nwcty.org. And then we're already looking ahead to January. We're having a brand new event we're calling Pints for a Purpose. It's a beer tasting. So you get to try some nice craft local brews and enjoy music from Blues Patrol, who's an incredible Blues Brothers tribute